everybody, Karen here. I am a yoga instructor at the Butler HRC. Thanks so much for joining me for some yoga. This will be a super chill practice and we especially designed to calm the nervous system. So perfect to do when you're feeling stressed out or even right before bed, not a bad option. So before we get started, you might want to gather some props, nothing too fancy. We've got a couple of yoga blocks if you've got them, and if you don't have them, you may not even need them, but good to have maybe a stack of books nearby near the front of the mat in case you want to bring the floor a little bit closer to you. And near the end of the practice, we'll be making use of either a nice bolster or a large cushion. Could be a couple of pillows, just something large and soft that you can lie down on. And a blanket would be a great addition as well. You could also use a couple of blankets instead of the bolster. So if you don't have a bolster or cushions nearby, you could grab a couple of blankets and that'll do just fine. Okay, so from here, we will begin in a seated position. So finding an easy seat. If your hips are feeling really tight, you can always take a blanket and have a seat on that to bring the butt up a little bit so that the knees can relax down. So just find a couple of breaths here. Deep inhales and deep exhales. You can close the eyes if you're comfortable closing the eyes. And just see how you're feeling right about now. Just checking in with any thoughts that are running through your head, with any emotions you might be feeling. And as you observe also how you're feeling physically, if there's anything in particular that's a little stuck or feeling a little tight, try to lengthen and deepen each inhale and each exhale. Just a couple of rounds of breath to check in. Okay, and from here, we'll take another big inhale. And as we exhale, we'll take the right hand right behind the tailbone and the left hand right on that right thigh. This puts us in a good place for a nice seated twist. So take a big inhale for a long spine and exhale, squeeze from the belly button to look over toward the right. Make sure that the shoulders are still down away from the ears here, both shoulders. Inhaling for length, exhaling to twist. And then as we're ready, we'll inhale to take the right arm high and reach the right arm over to the left side. So we're getting a nice stretch in the right side of the rib cage here. You might want to look up toward that top arm if that's okay on your neck. And then as we exhale, we're going to cross the arms in front so it's right over left. My arms are crossed in front of my chest here. And we're going to inhale to take the chest forward. You can sway the tailbone back a little bit, maybe even let the head drop back. Exhale to tuck and to round, seated cat and cow. So inhale to sway the back, looking up. Exhaling to tuck, to round, to curl. And notice the stretch you're getting as well between the shoulder blades here. All right, from here we'll find that neutral spine once more. And then we're just gonna give ourselves a giant hug, a little self-appreciation here. So from here, take a big exhale. And we're gonna inhale to open up the arms. As we exhale, we cross the arms the other way we had before, giving ourselves that giant hug. Inhaling to open the chest, take the arms out to the side. And again, just to the rhythm of your own breath. Inhaling out, exhaling to hug. This symbolism of giving ourselves a hug is a nice thing. Plus, we're also getting some mobility through the shoulders, opening up the chest. All right, and then we'll settle back in to that hug. Once again, the right arm is going to be over the left. So you could keep this hug, or if you want to take the forearms parallel, you can. Maybe the backs of the palms meet, or maybe for a little bit more stretch, we crawl the palms towards each other to meet. Eagle arms. Inhaling, the elbows might come a little bit higher, shoulders stretch. And then as we exhale, we're going to bow forward. Think of hinging from the hips here. Eventually, we'll let go of that bind. We'll let the head hang nice and heavy, maybe even a little sway side to side. Let the head hang even heavier, and then we'll feel a real relaxation starting to happen in the back of the neck. Take a big inhale through the nose. As we exhale, let's let it go side out through the mouth. Then as we inhale, we're going to walk the hands back towards us here. Coming back to center to see how you feel. All right, whenever we're ready, we'll start with that twisting motion to the other side. But before we do that, however your legs are crossed here, give yourself a little wiggle, a little wobble, and cross them the opposite way. Okay? So then from here, we'll take the left hand behind the tailbone. We'll inhale here and exhale. Right hand lands on that left thigh, twisting over toward the left. Inhaling for length. Exhaling, squeeze from the belly button. Eventually the spine really starts to twist a little bit more. Just be where it feels good for you. And where the shoulders are coming down away from the ears here. As we inhale, we're going to sweep that left arm up overhead, getting a nice side stretch here. Right. So as we inhale, we might look up toward that top arm. Notice that stretch through the left side rib cage. As we exhale, now we've got the left arm crossed in front of the right, coming to center. So just taking it back and forth here, using the rhythm of your own breath. Deep inhales, deep exhales. And then we'll inhale to come back to a neutral spine. Giving yourself a hug, just crawling the hands towards the shoulders. Self-love, self-care, so important. Then as we inhale, we'll take the arms out wide, chest wide. Exhaling, recrossing the arms a different way, hugging in. Again, just a few rounds here, using the rhythm of your own breath as a guide. Inhaling out, exhaling in. All right. So from here, we want to settle into this hugging motion again, where the left arm is over the right. So just settling in there, finding that hug. And then see if you want to find eagle arms here. The forearms begin to come parallel, or you can keep that hug as an alternative. Inhaling, the elbows come up, maybe a little, maybe a lot. And then as we exhale, we're going to fall forward here again. See where you want to go. Eventually, we're going to release that bind. Even here, you could use some cushioning or blankets or blocks to bring the floor a little bit closer if you need it. Big inhale here. Big exhale, let the head hang heavy. A few breaths here. And to finish out this pose, we'll take a huge inhale through the nose. And we'll exhale, release the jaw just side out. As we inhale, we're going to come back to center. Right. So from here, we just release the cross of the legs, maybe take a little windshield wiper back and forth. And we'll come to a super chill tabletop shape here. So from our tabletop position, we'll make sure the shoulders stacked over the wrists, the hips right over the knees, and take another couple of rounds of cat-cow from this angle. It's a slightly different angle here from where we were when we were seated, but it's the same, very similar motion here. Inhaling to open up the front side of the body, exhaling to open up the back side of the body. A few rounds here, and then as you're ready, coming into just that neutral tabletop shape. From here, we're going to leave the hips stacked over the knees, and we're going to take the forearms right down to the mat. So to get into puppy pose or heart melting pose, we crawl the forearms forward from here. We try to leave the hips stacked right over the knees, and then as much as feels good to you, bringing the chest down toward your mat. Stretch to the front of the shoulders. We did a lot of stretching to the backs of the shoulders here in our seated poses, and now we say hello to the front of the shoulders, to the chest. Few breaths here. From here, we'll crawl the hands back towards us. And so once we're back in our tabletop shape, we're going to find downward facing dog. So moving the hands forward maybe an inch or two here, and tucking the toes under, sending the tailbone toward the ceiling here. And then see where you want to go here. It's a great option to pedal out the heels, bend one knee, straighten the other, and maybe give the head a little shake just to make sure we're releasing through the neck, letting the head hang heavy. Take a big inhale, come up to both sets of tiptoes here, and then as we exhale, we're going to take the heels toward the mat and then push back with the arm strength, send the chest toward the thighs. The heels may or may not touch the mat, but you want to bring them as close as feels okay to you right now. Good. And as we inhale, we're going to look forward between the hands. As we exhale, taking a little walk forward. Great. From that walk forward, we'll just grab the elbows here. We'll sway it out side to side. Just taking a little break in the low back, especially here. Knees nice and soft, and then we take a big inhale. As we exhale, the hand's going to fall down wherever they want to land is fine. And then from here, we're going to unroll, think one vertebra at a time, making our way towards standing. End of the inhale, sends the palms to touch overhead, exhaling to heart center, and just taking a few breaths, seeing how you feel here. Equal weight between the feet, equal pressure between the hands. Maybe taking a moment to close the eyes to really get in touch with how you're feeling, the quality of your breath. Great. And then we'll come to a traditional mountain pose with the hands by the sides, palms forward. So into just one round of Sun Salutation C series. We'll inhale, the arms rise. We'll exhale to fold forward, hinging from the hips. We'll inhale up to a flat back here, like a number 7 shape with the hands on the shins. Exhaling the hands down, and the left foot steps all the way back on the mat, runner's lunge. Sends the back knee down. Inhaling to rise into a nice little back bend here. Exhaling the hands down, and we're going to step that right foot back to meet the left, coming into plank. Taking a big inhale in your plank, and then as you exhale, the knees come to the floor as well as the chest and chin. The butt stays in the air here. This is pranayama inchworm pose. Inhaling to come forward, belly's down, chest is up, tops of the feet are hugging into the floor. Elbows reach back behind you. Cobra pose. Take a couple of breaths here. The exhales might take you out of it slightly. The inhales take the chest forward. The hands feel like they're peeling in a direction back behind you. The elbows hug back. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And then as we exhale, Coming down out of this and pushing it back all the way back into your downward facing dog. Take a big inhale to look forward between the hands. And as we exhale, the left foot steps forward, back knee comes down. And as we inhale, we rise, shining the heart. As we exhale, hand's gonna come down and we'll step it forward, finding our Uttanasana forward fold. As we inhale, we rise, think one vertebra at a time. End of the inhale sends the palms to touch overhead. Exhaling to heart center. Let's try that other side. So we're gonna inhale to rise. We're gonna exhale to fold forward. Inhaling up to a flat back here and exhaling the hands plant, knees bend. Right foot shoots all the way back. Back knee comes down. We inhale to open up the front side of the torso. We exhale, hands come down, we step it back into plank. Take a big inhale in that plank. And as we exhale, knees, chest, and chin come to the floor, elbows hug in. Inhaling to come forward into your cobra. We're not going to spend as long here this time. And we're just going to exhale right into our downward facing dog. Few breaths here, and then we inhale to look forward between the hands, and we exhale to step the right foot forward. Back knee's gonna come down. We inhale to rise, and we exhale to step the left foot forward to meet the right. Uttanasana forward fold. Inhaling all the way to standing, exhaling to heart center. All right, we'll come into a standing pose series here. For that, we'll take just another round, this time like a half a sun salutation A. So we'll inhale to reach it high, exhaling to fold forward, inhaling right to that flat back situation, and as we exhale, stepping it all the way back to plank. Take a big inhale in that plank, and as we exhale, knees, chest, and chin come to the floor. As we inhale, peeling that chest forward. And then as we exhale, this time let's sit the hips back toward the heels, finding child's pose. So traditional child's pose is the hands reaching for the feet and the knees in pretty close. Or an extended child's pose. Have the hands in front of you and the knees out wide, big toes together. So pick your favorite child's pose. We'll spend a couple of breaths here. Just again to check in, to see how you're feeling, to have more of a chill element to this yoga practice. And knowing you can come back to that child's pose at any point during your practice. We'll go ahead, come back up to a tabletop position, that tabletop shape we had near the beginning, and we'll push it back, exhaling into downward facing dog. A few breaths here. As we inhale, we're going to take that right leg high. As we exhale, we're going to take that right knee toward the nose and just very softly, gently step that right foot all the way forward. Back heel's going to stay up and floating. We'll inhale to come up to our crescent warrior shape here. A little bit of balance happening here. We want to send the front heel toward the back toes, just isometrically. And that really helps with the balance in this position. And from here, let's go ahead and give ourselves another giant hug. And inhale to reach out, and then switching sides, hug in, inhaling to reach out. Let's exhale to hug in. See if you can find the right arm over the left, just hugging in here. And then see if you want to find that eagle shape with the arms. Inhaling here to bring the elbows up, exhaling to dive in, humble warrior with eagle arms. And this gets to be a little bit of a balance challenge for sure. Inhaling to come up, exhaling to dive in. Let's take one more round here. Inhaling to come up, exhaling to dive in. And then from here, we're going to inhale to stay up and then begin to release that left foot. And we're going to wrap the left thigh over the right thigh. So this is hugging in to our center, crossing the midline, which is said to calm the nervous system. So we're squeezing the thighs together, we're squeezing the arms together, we're crossing the midline of the body. And as we get these wobbles, we can always use the toes as a little kickstand, or just allow ourselves to fall out of this and come back in. Crossing the center line of the body is said to be very de-stressing. De-stressing, I'll take it. All right, so from here, we're gonna undo the arms. We're gonna uncross the legs and simply send that left foot all the way back on the mat. And then from here, set up for our warrior two. So that left foot is about parallel to the short side of the mat, and we're going to take the arms out to a T position, looking out over that right middle finger, bending into that front knee, and sending that right knee toward the pinky toe, warrior two. Few deep breaths here. Another chance to see if we're taking the shoulders down away from the ears. Maybe give them a little roll here. Take a big inhale, stretch it out, fingertips to fingertips, and then exhaling, right elbow toward that right thigh. Left arm reaches up overhead, left fingertips reach, extended side angle. As we inhale, let's come up to a sky archer pose here. So the right knee straightens, we've got lots of space in that right side rib cage. And then as we exhale, we keep all the space we've found through the torso and we come into a T position, keeping that front knee straight but not locked out. And we're moving into our triangle here. So just move the hips a little bit and then take the left hip back. Feel that right hip crease in front and reach with those right fingertips. Find your edge with this reach. And then we're gonna just take it around into an extended triangle, Utthita Trikonasana, this is called. So that right hand could be on the shin somewhere. You could even take a block, place it under the hand. If you're super bendy, the right hand might come to the floor, but we need to be careful that we're really keeping a lot of length in the torso as we do this. So if you're starting to crunch in there, you can kind of come up and out a little bit higher on the leg. And then as we're ready, we begin to crawl those right fingertips forward. Right hand might land on a block or on the floor, and we begin to float that left leg. Finding our balancing half moon, flexing that back foot, reaching out through all the limbs. And for a little bit more of a balance challenge, you can look off to the side here instead of down to the floor. Take a big inhale here, and as we exhale, we're gonna step that left foot all the way back. Find a nice wide leg stance here with the toes pointing towards each other a little bit, the heels out a little bit. Inhaling to a nice wide arm stance, and then exhaling to fold in. Think of folding from the hip joints here. Leaving the back nice and long. Good. And then placing the hands wherever it's comfortable for you, in the center or grabbing the big toes with the peace fingers. Shake out that head, let that neck go. All right, let's inhale up to a flat back here, placing the hands right under the face. And then as we exhale, we're gonna crawl toward that right front foot. And then step that right foot back into plank. See if you wanna find a knees, chest, chin. Inhaling into your little back bend, or you could always be in child's pose here. And then exhaling, finding our downward facing dog. From here, we'll inhale that left leg high. We'll exhale that left knee toward the nose, and then take that left foot forward softly. We're gonna, again, leave that back heel floating, and then see about making our way up into a crescent warrior. Again, just this idea of taking the front heel and the back toes towards each other isometrically really helps the balance in this position. Few breaths here. All right. From here, we're gonna, again, give ourselves a hug, say the left arm over the right. Inhaling to take it out wide. Exhaling, right arm over the left. So just switch sides each time. Which arm is on top? Inhaling to take it out. And at the same time, we're balancing here. Exhaling to hug in. Inhaling to come out. Exhaling. Just a couple more rounds. And wherever we land, we're going to meet in a hug with the left arm on top. All this self-appreciation here. Oh yeah. And then we're going to take the forearms parallel, if you wish, or stay in this hug. Find your eagle arms here. Big inhale here, maybe take the elbows a little higher. We're going to exhale into humble warrior here. Inhaling, we're going to come up. Exhaling, we're going to dive in. 3 rounds here. Inhaling to come up. Exhaling to dive in. And then we're going to inhale to come up one more time. And this time we're going to walk that back foot forward so the right foot comes forward. And we're going to take that right thigh over the left here. I'm just facing you so you can see what's going on. But we've got the right arm under and the right leg over. Right thigh over the left and squeezing them together. And when, not if, but when we lose our balance, we keep breathing deeply. We keep that calm mind. From here, let's go ahead. We'll go back to the top of the mat here. And we'll let everything go. De-pretzel, de-squeeze, and then we'll step that right foot to the back of the mat for our warrior 2. From our eagle to our warrior 2. So back foot about parallel, short side of mat, left foot is in front, looking out over that left middle finger. Some nice strength in the lower body going on here after all that balance. Deep breath. Take a big inhale here, and as we exhale, the left elbow comes somewhere onto that left thigh. And we allow that left elbow to put a little bit of pressure on that left thigh to just open out that hip a little bit. Again, making contact with ourselves, kind of like that hug we were doing. And then when we're ready, coming up to sky archer. Front knee straight but not locked out. And that sets us up nicely for triangle. So arms come out wide. Take a big inhale here. And then as we exhale, right hip zhuzhes back. I reach forward. I feel that left hip crease increasing. Then when I've reached my edge with this reach, I spin it around into extended triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. Lots of space here in this pose. Breathing deeply. And then when and if we're ready, You might crawl that left hand forward. Left hand finds the block or the floor. Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon. Flexing that back right foot. Reaching that right arm up high. And for an extra balance challenge, maybe I'm looking toward the side instead of down at the floor. Take a big inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to come to that wide leg stance again. I'm going to go ahead and turn around so you can see me from this side. And we're going to take the hands and just clasp the hands behind the back, if that's comfortable for you. And then as we inhale, we're going to maybe even let the head fall back, find lots and lots of space in the chest, maybe even push the hips forward slightly. Exhaling to dive into our forward fold. Again, letting the head and neck go and feeling this stretch in the fronts of the shoulders, especially if I'm inclined to move my hands with the bind a little bit closer to the floor in front of me, maybe just a half a hair. See how you feel. Take a big inhale here, and then as we exhale, we're going to take the hands right under the face again. At this time, we're going to heel toe the feet towards each other, a little wider than hip width apart, so that we can settle into yogi squat. And you don't need to come down quite this low. You could always be up here with the toes pointing forward, with the fingertips crawling forward, pulling the butt back. Slightly different stretch, but just as delicious. Good, and then see if you want to settle into wherever you are with this squat. Good. From here, we're going to get to the super chill portion of the class. And so we're going to support ourselves with the hand and just have a seat with the knees bent. And then start to windshield wiper the knees. Just wipe them side to side. And again, just get into any sensations that you're finding here. And from here, we will grab our bolster or cushion or folded blanket, fold it into a rectangle shape if you've got a blanket, and we'll place it right by the right hip. And then we'll continue to windshield wiper the knees. Okay, so from here, eventually we're going to let the knees land over on the right, and then we're going to take that left leg back a little bit so that that right foot is around on the top of that left thigh. From here, we're going to inhale for lots of length. Then as we exhale, we're twisting to face this bolster or cushion or blanket. You could also do this just right on your mat without a prop if you want to go that low. Personally, I really prefer having some cushioning there. And then once your chest is facing that bolster, you can go ahead and lie down, deer pose. You can goalpost the arms here a little bit. And if it feels nice on your neck, you can turn your head to the right. Left cheek is now on that cushion. And we're going to take a few breaths here in our deer pose. Just allowing things to sink. Whenever you are ready, releasing this twist. Finding ourselves with the chest facing the cushion again, we can push our way all the way up. And bring our feet to the front here and place that cushioning on the other side. So again, to start, we're simply going to windshield wiper the knees side to side, get into the sensation, and then eventually we allow the knees to fall over to the left. And then we're going to bring that right leg back a little bit until that right thigh is somewhat under that the sole of that left foot. We take a big inhale to find a nice long spine. Then as we exhale, we twist over to face that cushion. And then finding your jam here, maybe you want to stay up for a little while or for the entire time and just get used to this twisting motion. Whenever it's feeling good to you, you begin to lower onto that cushion. So a lot going on here in deer pose. There's a twist going on. There's a stretch of the hip flexor. And the other thing that's going on is a forward fold. Forward folds are said to be calming for the nervous system. So if your neck is okay with it, we're going to turn the nose toward the left so the right cheek comes onto the cushion, but you could also be facing the other way so that your nose is facing the same direction as the knees. It might feel totally different on the different sides. So see what feels appropriate to you on this side. And give it a few breaths to sink in. Stay here for a few more breaths and see about finding some release. And then whenever you are feeling it, begin to untwist the torso and the chest, then lines up with the front of the cushion, pushing ourselves up from the hands. Coming back to this comfortable seat, maybe a couple of little windshield wipers side to side once more. And then from here, lots of options. We're going to basically come down to a restorative resting pose. And to continue to kind of open out through the shoulder area and open up the heart area, we're going to take either a blanket or a cushion, again in a rectangular shape, for supported fish. So you could take a pillow, a couple of pillows, you could fold up the blanket, fold up another blanket on top of it. And basically what we want to do is take a shape where the heart area is opening up. So I'm lying down with that area between my shoulder blades kind of centered on the bolster. And then I'm going to adjust to where it feels good on my low back, where that bolster, that cushioning is coming into the low back. You don't want to get it too low into that lumbar region. Yeah, so supported fish. So finding this, another option if you've got a cushion and a blanket is to take that folded blanket and put it right on top of the hips here. Just to give a little bit of weight to the hips, again, helps to calm the nervous system. And just making sure that you are getting to a place where you are comfortable. If you would like to simply come to a face-up, lying down shape, like your traditional Shavasana, feel free to do this. It's all about what you need. This supported fish pose really helps open up the fronts of the shoulders that tend to get pretty smushed when we sit at the computer all day, which I know a lot of us have been doing more of these days. So let's restore, let's chill. Let's give this a few minutes in this supported fish shape. Giving yourself a chance here to just be. Sending your kind attention for a moment to the muscles of the face and seeing if you can release through the forehead, through the jaw. Sending the tongue down to the bottom of the mouth. Letting that relaxation travel into the throat and even up through the crown of the head. Free to stay in this restorative pose as long as you wish. But whenever you are ready to come out of it, just start with a little wiggle to the fingers, to the toes, a little rotation of the ankles, of the wrist, and really feeling that movement come in to the limbs. Sending the head from side to side, keeping the neck nice and loose. If you are on that cushion, bolster, or blanket, simply rolling it over toward one side or the other. And then coming into that posture of rebirth, pausing there for a moment, and then pushing yourself up from the hands, finding a comfortable seat whenever you are ready. Just noticing how you feel here and knowing you can come back to this sense of calm at any time. It's always here for you. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga today. Namaste.